and welcome to Something to Talk About. I'm Linda McNamee, and for the next hour, as you saw from our introduction, we're going to learn all about champions for children. And are you going to be one of those champions? We'll find out in a moment when you meet my wonderful guest. But before you meet that wonderful person who's sitting next to me, we need to take care of a few housekeeping rules. You are welcome to email me at talk@bcattv.org. Anytime, suggested for a future topic. If you have a question, can't remember the email address of the guest, talk@bcattv doesn't change. .org doesn't change. I already forgot it already. I would like to thank the crew for this evening. Tad Stefanek, who is one of the staff members here, is here to make sure that everything continues to run smoothly for us volunteers. Speaking of volunteers, we have Lucian Gates, Christina Nikitas, and Evan McNamee giving up their Wednesday evening to come hang out at BCAT. I would also like to thank my husband, Paul, as always, for staying home for Daddy Date Night because my daughter, Gwyneth, is home not feeling well. So I think that's all the housekeeping. And now I would like to introduce, again, my wonderful guest. I got to come up with another adjective, but you might recognize her, Jenna Lloyd, who is a board member and, what was it, marketing? No.
Part-time community coordinator.
Community coordinator for the Mama Bear Effect.
That's correct.
And I had to keep correcting myself because I wanted to just call it Mama Bear Effect, but it's actually like officially with the in it, isn't
The
it?
Mama Bear Effect,
The
yes.
Mama Bear Effect.
Well, you know, the bears and how they get into that Mama Bear Effect protective mode
Yeah,
for their
do
cubs.
not mess with Mama Bear.
Right.
No. So, anyway, well, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
I always like to begin to get to know my guest a little bit. I know we go way back, but some of my viewers might not. So can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure.
Where you grew up, how you came to the Burlington area,
Okay.
and eventually that will morph into how did you get involved in
Yes.
the Mama Bear Effect?
So I grew up in Maine, actually. Moved down to Massachusetts when I was in middle school. And my sister actually settled in Burlington 30-something years ago.
Oh, okay.
And so when I got married and was looking for a community to raise my family, we came into Burlington. My husband and I bought a house here in 2009.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And you've been here ever since?
Ever since.
And I remember when I moved to Burlington, I had all my friends help me move. And I had so much stuff, they said, you are never allowed to move again.
Amazing
And
how
I'm
much
like,
stuff
nope,
you accumulate.
I
Yes.
don't want to move.
Yes, true.
So how did you get to know that the Mama Bear Effect actually existed even before you started to, volunteer and then eventually work?
So I actually met Adrienne Simeone. She's the founder of the Mama Bear Effect. She established the Mama Bear in 2012. I met her in 2014. Our children went to Pine Glen Elementary School
kids
together.
Are the same
kindergarten,
age.
Right? They were kindergarten classmates, and talking with other moms and getting to know other families in the community, we became friendly with Adrienne, and she was telling me about the Mama Bear, and what they were doing. And at that point, I was a mom of young kids. I never crossed my mind to talk to my children about body safety.
Exactly.
The prevention side of it. It never, it is a taboo topic.
But it's also like, yes, it's taboo, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but when I was growing up, it was stranger danger, and now I'm realizing,
exactly.
No. Okay.
Exactly. So,
sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
And so talking to her about it and, getting involved with it that way, I was like, wow, I really should talk to my children about it. And so I started volunteering for her shortly after, planting pinwheels, hoping, participating in the events and stuff like that.
One of the pinwheel things, it was like April 1st.
It's April, for the month of April,
and
yes.
it snowed.
Yes. That was the year we had Miss America,
Yes!
Miss Massachusetts there.
Yeah.
The poor thing, both of them, Miss
Everybody
Teen,
was
Miss
freezing.
Teen Massachusetts, and everybody was freezing. That was crazy. Yeah, so April, especially in New England, is a little tough. So I started volunteering for her that way, and then just 2 years ago, I worked part-time for her, so as a community coordinator, trying to raise awareness, get in touch with community centers, stuff like that.
So is it like just within Burlington, within Massachusetts?
More
or-
so the Massachusetts
Because
wise.
she ended up, and she came on in 2022
Yep.
to celebrate the 10 years
Yes.
of the Mama Bear Effect. And I remember talking to her then that, and you were there too, but it became so much more nationally based
Yes.
than I think she had anticipated or even imagined at that time.
And it's even grown exponentially since then.
Wow.
Yeah, we service a lot of child advocacy centers in school departments throughout the country. Family,
wow.
we are
Okay.
we are sending information to families and child advocacy centers to Oregon, to Michigan, to Minnesota. I mean, we're all over the country now.
So how do you get involved in, how do you make yourself known and then get them to buy into your product?
So a lot of
I know it's not really a product, but
no, right, but it's our materials.
Your
So a lot,
mission.
like child advocacy centers, unfortunately, get children on the trauma side of this
Okay.
type of crime. But they're also getting funding from their states to get onto the prevention side of
Okay.
things, to talk to parents and families about teaching body safety. Adrian has an entire line of prevention materials and resources for families to spark those conversations with the children. So the advocacy centers reach out to us and be like, oh, we love everything that you do. Please, we'd like to order, we'd like, to get your input on this stuff. So
help us do this so
Right.
we can kind of transition and be more proactive
exactly.
instead of reactive.
And families seeing, pediatricians' offices that have preventative materials for them, will reach out and say, hey, Adrian actually wrote a book called My Body is Special and Private.
Okay.
It's a adorable little rhyming board book to
fun.
teach toddlers about, what are your private parts?
Starting that young, wow.
And how they should be covered.
Okay.
And so a lot of families nationwide, even we send stuff to Lebanon, there's families out there that
Wow,
are looking
okay.
for this materials. Parents will order the books because they want to read it to their children, to broach those subjects at a young age.
Okay. Now, over time, have you been allowed to get those books into schools or curriculum or anything? Or
So
is
it
that like your
depends
goal?
a lot
or-
on the states. So like Jenna's Law and Aaron's Law that are in some of the states that are already passed. I know Massachusetts has been trying to get some of those laws passed here, where
I don't
it
know about
is
those laws. So okay.
a lot of the states that have those laws. Definitely. We have the teacher's edition books. We have a lot of materials for teachers.
It's like a whole curriculum.
Yes.
So it's more than just the board book.
Right. So those communities, those states, definitely we service those a lot.
Okay. Cool. So what is your, I know I didn't write this on the question, so feel free to say, no, I don't want to answer that. But what do you actually do for that community outreach, like you
So for the
personally, in
community
your role?
outreach, I do a lot of event planning, trying to do ways to engage the community, to raise awareness, to get it on people's radar. So April's a busy month for us, so
Okay.
we do a lot of planning for that. I also deal with all the in-house shipping, so everything that gets distributed throughout the country.
So the
I deal
UPS
with that.
guy and you were like
Yes.
that. Okay.
Yes. But more so for the community outreach, I, do a lot of networking, do a lot of reaching out to not only child advocacy centers, but daycares, anywhere that there's children, youth serving organizations, trying to make connections with those people, just to, to get the word out, to raise awareness and to have it be in their program that you should be training your staff on, proper procedures on keeping everybody safe.
And I'm trying to decide. I'm like looking at this, going, oh, okay. So we mentioned the 10 years of Mama Bear.
Yes.
And you entered the whole picture pretty early on.
On a light scale, like, I would do pinwheels. I would do,
So what's the deal with the pinwheels?
So
Why
the pinwheel.
a pinwheel?
So April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Now, is that something that Adrian was able to establish, or did it already?
No,
was
so
it
that's
already
a
established?
national child abuse. So that's any form of child abuse.
Okay.
We specifically deal with the prevention of sexual child abuse. But so the pinwheel, which is a child toy, is a symbol of April. So every April we push and we plant, and we try to get as many people involved.
Yeah. They're not going to grow.
Planting pinwheels, and again, I will say April in New England's tough. Hopefully this April will
It's a
be
nice breeze, so the pinwheels like flutter in the wind.
fluttering, them like flying across the place. But so when you see them, we plant them in front of the police station, in front of the fire station, in front of the post offices, in front of the schools. But I mean, anybody, I plant my lawn with them, just to raise awareness that, that this is National Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Now, is the Mama Bear, I know it's later on, but is the Mama Bear Effect doing any local events?
Yes.
Like we did when it snowed and Miss Massachusetts was here, but
yes, hopefully this April will be a lot pleasanter, though we don't have any outdoor activities planned this year. So we do actually have quite a few events happening.
yeah, I'm sorry, I'm making you flip
No,
through
that's
pages,
all right.
But we'll
I
talk
just-
about them at the end too.
I'm just gonna, just to make sure I have my dates and times correct. So April 2nd, it's actually starting April 2nd, we have a Rock the Talk parent workshop that is open to the public, free. We do recommend that you register just because we're having it at the Burlington Public Library.
Okay.
And space is limited. But we're having a Rock the Talk parent workshop, which is going to run through, best preventative ways to keep your child safe from the threat of from abuse.
Now, is there any meaning behind the term or the title of
Rock the Talk? Yes, our Rock the Talk parent packs is a great tool for parents to have. It gives you ideas on how to spark those conversations with your children, age-appropriate conversations. You have toddlers, grade school, teens, and and older. Tools to help parents have those conversations with their children about body safety, about your personal boundaries, about body autonomy, and all that.
Get everybody on the same page, because I think Adrienne was talking about like the safety circle, and I don't know if I was talking to her, but I've heard stories about like keywords, like if the neighbor comes to pick you up at the bus stop.
Yes.
The secret word that
you can
to make sure that they're supposed to be there.
Right. But so our April 2nd
Rock the Talk
parent workshop. So you can register for that on the mamabeareffect.org website.
Okay.
That is on April 2nd from 7 to 8.
Now, are children encouraged? Okay, so it's an adult. It's like a parent only thing.
Absolutely,
okay.
Yes, because truly, the best tool is adult education. Adult education is imperative to protect your children. So, so we're going to have that on April 2nd.
Okay.
And then for the entire month of April, our friend Paula at True North is...
Love her.
I know, they're fabulous. She's working with us on our coffee sleeve campaign, which
Ooh,
is
what's that?
all about raising awareness for the month of April, as well as there will be QR codes on the coffee sleeves that go around all her mugs.
Oh, okay.
that
Like the little
will-
cardboard ones, or like
Yes,
Can Cozy
you know, the
ones?
cardboard
Oh,
ones.
the cardboard ones.
The cardboard.
Ooh,
So people
okay.
can scan the code to learn preventative materials, as well as to donate, because we are a small nonprofit, so every penny helps. And so that's going to be so True North is doing that for the entire month of
Oh,
April.
wow. Okay.
And then on April 11th, we are having our Champions for Children luncheon.
Hence the title of the show.
Right, hence Cafe Escadrille. We're having that at Cafe Escadrille.
Okay. Tell me more about that. Sounds fancy.
So this is going to be a great, unique gathering of local community leaders, esteemed professionals, youth-serving organizations are going to be there, and it's going to be like an open forum topic where we can really discuss better preventative ways to protect children.
Okay.
So it's to raise awareness for the epidemic, unfortunately, of child sexual abuse, as well as needed ways that we can prevent,
Okay. And a lot of the prevention is through education.
Right.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, we'll recap those at the end as well.
Yes.
Now,
Oh, wait, and then we have one more thing.
There's more.
There's more. So Alana and Mike at the Bagel Bar. Fabulous
Oh,
place.
yeah, okay.
Fabulous place. Have you ever had their fritters there? So good.
No.
So good.
Okay.
So they are going to have an event for us on April 30th called Carbs for a Cause. Isn't that
love
awesome?
that.
I do too. I think it's a riot.
Because everybody loves their carbs.
Exactly, and their food there is delicious. So they're going to host that for us on April 30th, and some of the proceeds from the sales of the day will go to benefit the Mama Bear Effect.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Backing up a little bit,
Yes.
the mission of the Mama Bear Effect is education.
Educate.
Are there any plans, or does the organization also do
Trainings.
trainings, or like work at legislation, or
So Adrienne has her hands in all of that, and we are in the process of coming up with training modules so that we can offer, like the Rock the Talk parent workshop.
Oh, okay.
We can offer, grade appropriate type of talks, train the trainer type thing, so
Yeah.
that we can go into youth serving organizations,
okay.
to train the trainers on appropriate and inappropriate behavior around children.
Now,
And,
do you also talk about like signs of
Yes.
if they're okay?
yes, all of that. So that is in the works.
Okay. Cool, because you mentioned Jenna's Law, and the only reason why I remember that is because your name is Jenna.
Right.
But what is that?
So it's a
can you,
law that
like-
is passed. There's Jenna's Law and Aaron's Law. There are two laws that are where in the schools they need to talk and teach body safety.
Okay.
Just to empower children because of, unfortunately, circumstances that happened with both of those women while they were children.
Oh, okay.
That, it needed to be passed
Okay.
so that they can teach it in the schools.
How prevalent is child sexual abuse? Because, like,
It's honestly it's a global epidemic, unfortunately, and I
Really?
say that
Okay.
because 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys is reported.
is reported.
Is
A lot
reported.
of that.
And
Okay.
unfortunately, with this type of crime, because it is somebody that you know and that you trust your children with, so it's not the stranger danger. It's somebody that you know, and the perpetrator not only grooms the child but also grooms the family.
Okay.
So with this type of crime, it doesn't really get reported.
Right.
So there's you can estimate that 1 in 4 and 1 in 6, but it could be
Lower or
right,
higher than that. Yeah.
Because unfortunately, it doesn't get reported, and
Well, because part of that whole grooming process is intimidation and a power struggle.
right,
So
and
it's like,
it's
ooh.
and it's unfortunately somebody that you know. So what happens is, if a child does disclose to a family member or a parent, and this is, they might not want to go through the trauma of the investigation. They may not want to go through the trauma of the trial. So it's not reported.
And a lot of times it's the family secret. We can't let everybody know that our family isn't perfect.
Right.
Okay.
So unfortunately, I mean, it is prevalent. I mean, in the long-term effects of this type of trauma on a child affects their development,
Okay.
growing. And so it's ramifications that ring through for years and years and years. I mean, I have...
Well, because, you destroy that bond of trust.
Right. So the National Institute of Justice has a study that links social implications of child sexual abuse to an estimate cost of $23 billion. Wow. And this is because, unfortunately, the child isn't developed properly because of the trauma that they suffered through. The stress causes them to have lifelong issues of, they're at
Anxiety,
higher risk of
depression.
alcohol abuse and drug abuse.
Okay.
They're at higher risk for eating disorders, failure to complete high school, suicide rates are higher, increased instability with relationships, more sexual relationships when they're older. So, I mean, the costs are linked to medical care, mental health, police and fire services, social and victim services, productivity and work, and then, loss of quality of life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it has such an enormous social impact for the lifetime of this child.
Are you aware, or have studies been done to kind of relate other abuses? Like if someone is sexually abused,
The
are
cycle
they more
continue.
prone to,
They're at a higher increased rate to abuse themselves, to that cycle. the
or like
cycle of
physical abuse or
Yes.
psychological abuse in addition to? So is it like, multiple abuses, or is it just, it's fun? Okay.
It's terribly sad.
Yeah, I know. The fun was supposed to be sarcastic.
It was.
What are some of the risk factors for children that are more likely to be abused?
So what do you mean, risk factors?
Risk factors. Question number 9. So,
number
like,
9,
is
thank
it
you.
just like,
We can
are there
edit that part.
socioeconomic factors? Are there, how is a child more likely to be a target of child sexual abuse?
So,
Like a single parent situation,
right.
or
So, like I said earlier, like the predator typically grooms not only the child but the family. So, single, a child of a single parent household, or
like after school programs?
no,
or?
it's more so they single out a child if they see that it's easily manipulated to kind of get them off on their own, and to weed in by saying, oh, let me watch him or her. You look tired, you can go out and do your thing, and I'll take care of it and stuff like. So somebody that is like overly aggressive, to be alone with your child and stuff like that.
Okay.
But it can even be as sly as getting to know the family so well, and bringing gifts, and being buddy with everybody, and cool, fun, happy person to be around.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, it's being aware of those situations that you just want to have your to be alert of.
Because, I was actually just redoing the youth protection training for an organization that I volunteer for. And a lot of what was said was, the perpetrator kind of looks for the vulnerable situation as well as the vulnerable child. If an organization doesn't have rules, doesn't have that watchdog, then they're more likely to move into that. But what also, I totally lost my train of thought. What also hit me, and I know this wasn't in the questions or anything, but it was something that kept repeating, that is there a way, or how do you tell the difference between somebody who's just really nice and somebody who's trying to manipulate you?
Sadly, it's just getting to know the person. I mean, and sadly, you may never know. I mean, these perpetrators can groom so well that, families are just as shocked.
Yeah.
When a child discloses. And then, as that parent, you feel, why didn't I see this? Why? Well,
Right.
How could you? I mean, because they groomed you as well. You
Yeah.
are just as much, you're not just as much, but you're a victim in
Yeah.
it as well.
You were manipulated.
Right.
So, okay, you were made to,
So-
redirect squirrel, that kind of thing.
Right. But so with education, like I said before, adult education is truly the best tool.
Okay.
And talking to your children about, body safety, and as well as, secrets versus surprises. Groomers tend to give children a gift, or, this will be our special secret. And when you teach your children from a young age on that, we don't have secrets in our family. We don't keep secrets. But we surprises. Surprises
Yeah.
is something that, will be known to everybody at some point in
Right.
time.
So
and
like
it's a
a,
happy occurrence, or it's a happy situation.
Let's not tell, your brother
Right.
he's going to get
So that
a
when
Switch
you
for
when
Christmas or
you
something.
explain the secrets versus surprises to your children, and you constantly reiterate this to them, when somebody says, "Oh, this will be our secret," then your kids will say, "Well, we don't keep secrets. We don't keep secrets in my house," and they, they're more apt to tell you, "Oh, they wanted me to keep this secret." And it's the same thing with teaching body safety,
Okay.
and teaching, what your bodily instincts are. So
Okay.
for a child, they might not understand, bodily instincts. So you talk to them and say, well, when you have that feeling when something doesn't feel good in your belly,
Yeah.
or something makes you feel like a little bit of chill, you got a chill running down your spine, or hairs are raising on the back of your neck, those are your body instincts. And it's your body's way of alerting you that something isn't right, something doesn't feel right. It makes you uncomfortable. And that's okay. If you have, somebody that you're not very familiar with that's looking for a hug and a kiss, and you don't want to, that's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to. If you get those instincts telling you that something's not right, listen to those.
Right.
And then you can come tell me, and we'll say, oh, you know what? Great, Aunt Judy, I don't want to give you a kiss, but I'll give you a fist bump. So that empowers the child to know that they have a right to say no
Okay.
if it makes them feel uncomfortable, and it empowers them by telling you. It cements to them that you're going to help them through the situation, even if they can't explain why they feel that way.
Okay. Because most of the time it's the perpetrator, someone that you know.
Yes.
Have you found that that is that is one of the reasons why kids don't say anything, because
It's hard for them.
The
It's
parent
very
won't
hard.
believe, or the adult won't believe them.
It's not, I mean,
Oh, you're making this up.
it's
know.
hard for the child because it's somebody they love.
Right.
And they don't understand. It's hard for them to express, that, I don't want to get them into trouble. I don't want them, to be mad at me. I don't want, them to be.
Because I'm also thinking, though, like, for a while, just victimization in general, nobody's going to believe you. You tell somebody, nobody's going to believe you. And, if it's, somebody that you are related to, your kid's not going to want to tell you because you won't believe them because you trust the other adult more, or is that kind of one of the missions
it's one of the missions to overcome, because it's imperative for a child to know that they can come with any type of disclosure, even if it's why does great Aunt Judy keep wanting to kiss me? And that is like one of the building blocks to get them into trusting that they can come to you or another trusted adult. I've lost
what are some? So
go ahead.
Okay, well, let's just move on. I'm the queen of tangents, so we can always go back. How can families minimize? Other than we don't have secrets, but what are some of the other tips? Not really tricks, but what are some of the other?
Educate yourself. Do research. Read the parent packs, and then educate your children. Body safety all the way. Constantly have conversations. So even, people say, well, when should you start having these conversations with children? Infancy. You're changing your child's diaper, and you talk about your toes and your nose and your ears and your eyes. Use the proper names for your private parts.
Okay.
Talk to them about their private parts, and the proper names. Don't make up names for them. And then, when they get a little older, you can read, the book about, we cover our private parts up with a bathing suit. And continuously ask, if they're out, now in grade school, they go out on a play date or their after school activity or a sporting event. When they come home, do a check-in.
Okay.
You want to make body safety a constant topic.
Okay.
Not constant, but a continuous,
like
normalized topic with them, so that it's easier for them to discuss.
Do you still recommend, what was it, the Circle of Five?
Yes. So we have what we call a body safety circle. So there are 5 trusted adults that your child is comfortable and confident to disclose to, because like you said, if it is somebody that's very close to the parents, it may be easier for the child to disclose to a teacher or
a coach.
or an aunt or somebody like that.
Okay. And Adrienne was also saying, by educating that circle of 5 trusted adults, they know that you're not going to put up with any secrets or tricks, and that you do have a system in place.
And so once your child does, the younger children, you may have to have those adults, in place for them. But as the children get older and they come to you and they say, all right, I want these 5 people to be my, my body safety circle, then you introduce, that situation to those 5 adults. This is what our family is practicing. My child has named you as being part of our body safety circle. And these are the rules that we follow.
Does it have to be 5?
No.
Okay. Just wondering, 5's a great number, but I'm like, well, what if you had 4? So, nope, sorry, we can't do it. What are your thoughts on social media? Because it's on the internet, it's got to be true.
It's so hard. The internet is hard.
The research, it's like, how do you know?
I have some disturbing information about, it's hard because it is so prevalent with the kids now.
I'm just thinking, my gosh, I didn't have email until I was 30, and now it's like.
It's so, I know. I have.
Elementary schoolers have smartphones.
Why can't I find it?
It should be early on.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
So, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children had 32 million reports filed in 2022 of online child extortion and exploitation.
And those are only reported.
Right. Only reported.
Wow. Okay.
Right. 82% of an increase from 2021 to 2022
Wow.
of enticement was reported. This is when children were being extorted, meaning they chat somebody up online and this person is either posing as another child and extorts them to send images of themselves.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I'm
Or-
like extorting for money. They're,
Well, extorts to send. Well, then they
Okay.
can, come back and say, "Oh, well, you sent me this photo, so now you got to send me another one, or I'm going to tell your parents, or I'm going to send it to the authorities."
Okay.
So just and those are the only cases that are reported.
Right.
So
But that's like
It's a
chatting. I mean, what about like
scary. I mean, it comes with Snapchat. I mean, even Roblox. I mean, there's been reports of people pretending to be something that they're not on Roblox and
Oh, wow. Okay.
enticing and extorting children from that. So my thought is, we obviously can't rely on big tech to keep
Right.
these kids safe. So it's really, truly up to the parents. Like, you have to be constantly monitoring what your kids are doing online. There are so many parental apps now that will help you protect certain images and things reaching your child.
Okay.
And parents really need to do some research on those apps and install them and monitor.
What about the schools? Because like Burlington, every kid now has an iPad.
So they have ways that the kids can't get off.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They have
Right.
their own protective monitoring apps
Okay.
on there. So, yes.
Okay, so we talked about empowering the child. Was there anything else you wanted to add on that?
I think so. So we talked about the check-ins. So definitely
Yeah.
after check-ins, talk those conversations, keep the conversation light and make it routine. Routine conversations. It's a commonplace thing. Because unfortunately, like when you're teaching your child to cross the street, how many times do you remember your mother saying, "Look both ways, look both ways, look both ways"?
And even if it's a one-way street, still look both ways because you
Exactly.
never.
I mean, just like that, where you're constantly having to remind them and reteach and reteach and reteach. Or every time my son leaves the house on his bike, where's your helmet? Get your helmet. Get your helmet. It's the same with the body safety lessons. I mean, it's common practice and keeping the conversation light. What else?
Physical contact. How do you determine acceptable and unacceptable? Giving someone a hug, you would
So that
think
is
would be
true.
kind of.
Well,
in
it's
a
truly up to the comfort level of the child. Some children just don't.
They're not the huggy
right.
type.
They're not the huggy type.
Okay.
And then that's easy. You can just be like, "That's okay." You can give a high five or a fist bump, and some kids still, no.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. Well, how about you wave from afar?
Elbow, or like during COVID, we did the elbow bumps, because you couldn't touch with the
I know
fist.
it.
And, yeah, good times. Signs that a parent should look for, because if the child does not know that they would be trusted or that they would be heard or listened to.
So each child obviously takes the trauma differently. And there are some physical signs you can look for. If a child's having trouble walking or sitting, bruising in the genitalia area, a rash. Sometimes it can present as like a UTI or an infection. And then there's, behavioral flags that you can look for. And it does affect each children differently.
Right. Okay.
Some children may withdraw, become depressed.
Okay.
Some children may act out and become violent. Some children might self-harm. So it's knowing the child and seeing that there's a different
Just behavioral pattern change.
Right. And obviously, the physical aspects of it too, if you notice those things.
I'm wondering, like, frequency. Are there statistics on one and done, or is it usually like a process until the perpetrator decides to move on to another victim? And when does that perpetrator move on? Have there, I know I'm just talking off the top of my head now. I'm not following the notes.
It's a good question. I mean, obviously, if a perpetrator is feeling the pressure of being found out, they would change their tune and probably move on.
Okay. Signs that parents should look for when suspecting that a friend or a family member is abused. Like, question number 17.
Okay.
If you still have your numbers.
So it's good too with, if you keep the line of communication open with your children and you talk frequently about the body safety as well as body instincts. And we went through that about, something's not feeling right, something in your guts, making you uncomfortable.
But like, might there be a behavioral change in the adult as well?
I'm not really sure.
And I'm also wondering, again, I'm flashing back to the training that I just finished. But they were also saying sometimes it's just another kid, like the babysitter's son, or
so we've found
the
too
older
with
brother,
a lot of
or
the statistical studies and the surveys that we read through that juvenile as the perpetrator onto like a younger child is quite prevalent. And we find that a lot of that is linked to online pornography that has stimulated, and at that point you really need to get help for both children, the victim as well as the perpetrator, because the child, the juvenile, is going through puberty. Experimenting, on a child is not right, obviously.
Okay.
But
like,
they don't really understand the ramifications of the trauma that they're inflicting.
Okay.
But unfortunately, the increase with juvenile on child has increased significantly.
It has increased? It's
Has.
still, oh, wow, okay.
Has, yes.
Because I'm thinking somebody that I know, when they were a child, had been abused by an older sibling.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, for that parent, how does the parent work through that? Because it's like you want to protect one child, but then you don't want to admit that the other child isn't perfect or has issues. And where did that come from and needs help?
Right.
So I'm just... outreach programs. Now, we talked about education. If someone were to come in need of support,
Right.
what would be the options there? Because, hey, I know that the Mama Bear Effect really promotes and advocates for education, but now I need it's past that point.
So now when a parent comes
So
to
if a parent
disclose-
comes to you
right.
saying,
So
"Can you
I know,
help?"
I mean, I've never had a parent disclose to me. Adrienne has had it
Okay.
frequently, and she always, puts them in the hands of the proper places to help with
Just
them.
wondering, is like there a link on your website
Oh, yes,
to
yes, under the resource section.
Okay.
There's definitely normal.
so they can, you won't just say, "Oh, sorry." That's
No,
not.
not at all, not at all. Especially with a situation like this, not at all.
Okay.
We always take whatever we can help and put them in the proper place to get the support
Okay.
that they need.
Because I'm wondering, like, it seems like your mission is very proactive,
Preventative,
but
yes.
what happens on the reactive
Yeah.
side?
Unfortunately, with a lot of the child advocacy centers that we deal with and the trauma crisis centers, they have that side of it.
Right.
Yes.
So kind of you partner with them to transition
Right.
or roll everything
right.
back?
And to really,
Okay.
help promote the preventative.
Okay.
I mean,
Other than printed materials, which I know you guys have some amazing
yes.
printed materials.
And anybody can go to the website and check
Okay.
out. We do have a lot of free downloadables that you can print right from home.
Ooh, okay.
As well as, our Rock the Talk parent packs, our body safety fridge magnets. We have posters that we have. And we have a lot of educational materials.
Any videos, or is it all just like static?
Static. Though we are in the process with the videos and the trainings.
Ooh,
yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I have to push the button. I have to push that line. Find out what you're doing. How would someone go about helping the Mama Bear Effect in their mission?
Yes. So there's definitely donations are always welcome as a small local nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
We truly appreciate every cent that we receive. Also, now that April's coming up shortly, you absolutely can volunteer to plant pinwheels. You can plant them in your own yard, your neighbor's yard. You can help us plant
Now, is
them
there like a
around town.
donation that's expected to get your little pinwheel garden
So
starter
we
kit,
sell the
or-
pinwheels online
Okay.
on our website, or you can even just send, you can drop us an email through the website.
Do they have to be official Mama Bear pinwheels, or can you just go to like Dollar Tree?
So they are blue. Blue represents the April National Child Abuse Prevention
Okay.
Month. So we have lots and lots and lots of pinwheels. And then, when you bring your children to your pediatrician, ask your pediatrician about their prevention type of information. We have a pediatric exam room kit that we are willing to donate to pediatrician offices.
okay.
So, the next time anybody's in with their pediatrician and they're talking to them, for their child's well visit or whatever, say, hey, I know of a local nonprofit that offers pediatric exam room kits, and it comes with the Rock the Talk parent packs that they can distribute to their families that they service. So it's just another avenue to raise awareness and get this information in front of parents and caregivers. So if anybody out in the audience is meeting with their pediatrician, absolutely have the pediatrician reach out to us, and I'll send it over.
Cool.
Yes.
When we were talking about the pinwheels, I remember seeing on your website the headline about awareness ribbons.
Yes.
Tell me more about that.
So Adrienne started End Sexual Child Abuse Awareness Ribbons, and I probably should have sent you the link on that. And it's a green ribbon, and she started that. I want to say probably 6 years ago now.
I don't remember.
Yes, I have one on the back of my car. Another avenue to raise awareness.
Okay. But if the pinwheels are blue, and why green?
So green is the Mama Bear Effect.
Oh, okay.
And So April encompasses all forms
Okay.
of child abuse. So that ribbon, awareness ribbon, is blue.
Okay.
Hence the blue pinwheels. So it encompasses all of child abuse.
Okay.
And the green one is for sexual child abuse.
And at one point, I don't know if you're still doing this, but the Mama Bear Effect did like a tie one on, ugly
campaign.
tie
Yes.
contest or
I don't
something.
think we're doing it this year, the Tie One On campaign, where you would have
Was that also
corporations.
during April as well?
Yes, yes.
I'm just thinking back. My dad had a lot of ugly ties, and
We would get
some of them came back to
amazing-
haunt me. So
We got amazing photographs from a lot of companies throughout the country,
really?
where
Okay.
they would have, they would make it a one-day type of thing, wear your ugly ties, and we would, she would get a bunch of pictures from, different
fun. I love it.
corporations and companies. There'd be like 15 guys all wearing crazy ties. It was great.
excellent. Oh, yeah, here it is. Tell me more about the awareness ribbon. So we have the awareness ribbon. We have the rock the talk. We have pinwheels.
Yes.
We have
April's a big month.
board book. What am I forgetting?
The board book. There's
Let's talk about Champions for Children again, because
Yes.
I wasn't really paying attention to the monitor. And I know you sent me in a wonderful graphic all about Champions for
So
Children.
Champions for Children's at Cafe Escadrille, April 11th.
I'm trying to
And
see.
so we
where
have,
my eye, if we can see that graphic.
wink,
But I
wink.
keep
Anybody in the
looking
back?
over there, and I'm like,
Anybody over there?
So we'll just keep talking about it. So Cafe Escadrille.
Yes, April 11th.
Do you have to buy tickets in advance? Oh, there's the
There
wonderful.
it is. Isn't it beautiful? Yes, so there are some spots available, as well as some sponsorship opportunities.
Okay.
Both can be found via the QR code there.
Okay. I've often wondered, how do you scan a QR code if it's on your phone and you have to scan it with your phone?
I have no idea.
Anyway, was I reading somewhere? Are you doing a silent auction at some point?
Yes, so we have the silent auction going on at the Champions.
At the Champions for Children. Are you
yes.
still inviting the opportunity for silent auction items?
Yes, we are. Thank
Are
you
there
very
like
much.
parameters? Like it has to be a minimum donor value of, or
Nope.
anything? Does it have to be related to the Mama Bear Effect mission?
No.
Okay, so somebody
So
could,
we
like,
have,
I mean, appropriate, yes.
yes,
But I'm like, if somebody
yes.
has, season tickets to the Red Sox.
Would be
and-
fabulous.
Okay,
We would
not the whole
welcome that.
season, just like
Just one game
a
would be
game.
great. Would be
Okay.
great. Yes, yes. And sponsorship opportunities too. We have cupcake table sponsorship.
You have a cupcake table?
Well, if somebody wants to sponsor it, we will.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
And at one point, and I don't know if there was any talk after the badge baseball game, the police versus fire. Are there
yes,
any
badges
how
for
did that-
bases.
How did that go?
That went actually really well. I enjoyed that a lot.
I know I went to the game and it was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was fun. And the police and the fire department were a riot. They had so much fun. Yeah, we did that not this past summer, the summer before.
Oh,
so I don't
okay.
know. Hopefully there'll be talks to do it again.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun.
And if not baseball, maybe basketball, or
Basketball
soccer,
or even
or
hockey,
bowling, or
bowling.
I don't know.
Right,
you know?
right. I'm open to anything.
All these opportunities.
Exactly.
Is there a target number of events or number of outreach activities, or do you just keep?
We keep going. I mean, the events get better and better every year. We do, anything we can to raise awareness on the topic. Our mission is to, raise awareness and educate adults to help protect children, the innocence of children. It takes a community. It really, truly takes a community to protect them.
Mama Bear Effect has been around for, 12 years now.
Right.
Where do you see it like in the next 5? And the next question's going to be in the 10.
Right, I was
but-
going to say, those things you would have to ask Miss Adrienne Simeone. But I mean, just seeing how much we've grown with outreach across the country in the last 5 years. I mean, it just continue to grow. I mean, it would be fabulous to get into, the school systems in our own state, as opposed to, outfitting Michigan and Minnesota and, in Utah and all the other states.
Is research still being done at, statistics or, how do you get, I know this is an Adrienne question, but how does she determine, and have you talked about where she gets all of this research and the materials for the Rock the Talk pamphlet? Because you don't want to spread misinformation.
Always updating. She is always updating and looking things. But we actually did our own research program, and we released the findings of it last January. And what we did is we surveyed over 600 people, adults, some survivors, a lot of parents. And, we did the survey because we wanted to find out from their perspective where they thought the best place, what their knowledge of child sexual abuse was first, their knowledge
like a scale
of
of 1 to 10?
right,
Or,
their knowledge of, teaching how to empower your child from abuse, as well as where they perceived or where they thought the best place to get this type of information from.
Okay.
And 77% of the people surveyed thought this information should come from their pediatrician. Thought
Really?
that, because they said,
Well, it makes
my
sense, but-
pediatrician talks to me about car seat safety. My pediatrician talks to me about helmet safety. My pediatrician talks to me about
Washing your hands.
right, all of that. So, this type of preventative care should come from my pediatrician. They also thought that police departments should, have knowledge and be approachable to present this type of information. So it was definitely an amazing study. That is our Parent Perspectives Report survey that we've done, and those are available at the Mama Bear Effect for free. If anybody wanted to have a copy of that, just reach out to me.
Was
and I can
your
get it to you.
group of 600 from Massachusetts, or was it just
nationwide?
Oh, wow. Okay. So where do you see Mama Bear Effect in 10 years? Another 12 years.
12 years.
12 years. Well, you're 12 years old.
That's
So,
right. I mean, it would be amazing to say we wouldn't need the Mama Bear Effect.
That would be
That
nice.
preventative care was, across the board. It was no longer a problem, but unfortunately, I don't see that.
Well, I'm also wondering, too, it's the Mama Bear Effect now has a physical office space.
Yes, we're right next to John Ward Insurance, Demore Law, the condo complex, right there by Suzanne's Dance.
But I'm just wondering, would you ever think of branching out?
I'll tell you, sometimes with all
Or
the
at least a-
materials we have in there, it feels like we're busting.
fire hazard.
We're busting out.
Blah. Anything else you want to add? Because we only have about 2 minutes left.
No, I think that's it. I think that's everything.
All right.
Yes.
So Cafe Escadrille.
Cafe Escadrille,
on
April 11th.
April 11th.
And April 2nd,
April 2nd.
the Rock the Talk Parent Workshop. Absolutely. It's a free event for the community. Just go online to the mamabearfet.org to register, because it's going to be a little tight in there, but I mean, you can save a spot.
There you go. And if there are lots of people, there can be a sequel. And you
Yes.
can have a part 2.
Yes.
So we are out of time.
Yes.
So yeah, my 2 minutes, toddler time. Time to go. Thank you so much.
Thank
Always
you.
a pleasure to see you.
You
I would
as
like to
well.
see you a little more frequently than every, 5 years.
True.
But best of luck with those 2, or the billion of upcoming events that you have coming, especially Carbs for
a Cause. Isn't that awesome? That's awesome.
So thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you are as motivated to help change our little one corner of the world and make that little corner a little bit bigger. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening. I will see you around town. Good night.